Lately, one of the most exciting privately held companies in Silicon Valley has come under fire. I'm talking about Theranos. That's the diagnostics company with the ultra-fast finger prick blood testing technology that's aiming to upend the entire traditional healthcare establishment by making it easier, less expensive, and much less uncomfortable for you to get tested for a whole range of conditions. For the last few years, Theranos has been viewed as a revolutionary company. Its CEO has been heralded as next Steve Jobs. The company's been valued as much as $9 billion in its most recent round of fundraising. But Theranos also has its critics, and just this morning, the Wall Street Journal ran a pretty scathing article about the company, alleging that the company's proprietary testing devices may be inaccurate, and basically accusing Theranos of deceptive practices. The Journal cites a former employee who claimed that of the 240 tests offered by Theranos, only 15 are actually performed on the company's proprietary Edison diagnostic machine, vast majority of the rest being done on traditional lab equipment. The article was pretty brutal. But here on Mad Money, we know something. We know that there are two sides to every single story, which is why I think it's important that we speak to Elizabeth Holmes, the founder and CEO of Theranos, who's coming to us this afternoon from Boston, where she's attending a meeting of the Board of Fellows at Harvard Medical School, to give her a chance to answer the charges raised in the article. Ms. Holmes, welcome back to Mad Money.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth, I have to tell you, in all my years, I can't recall a private company that I have to candidly many have never heard of getting this kind of attention and scrutiny. What do you think's going on here?
This is what happens when you work to change things. And first they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world. And I have to say, I personally was shocked to see that the Journal would publish something like this when we had sent them over 1,000 pages of documentation demonstrating that the statements in their piece were false. But we're doing things differently, and we're working to make a difference, and that means people raise questions, and that's okay. But in this case, it was pretty disappointing to see that after every single one of the sources that we spoke with, who the Journal had contacted, told us that the statements that were being attributed to them were false or misleading, and the only sources who were left were ones who wouldn't speak with us, who on their own website say that they now do business with LabCorp in their office, or in the other case, demanded in writing that we pay them in cash upfront $2,500 for an hour to talk to them about their statements to the Journal.
Did the Journal know what you just said? Did the Journal know everything that you just said before they wrote the article?
Of course, absolutely.
Oh, okay. At the same time, pretty negative article, so let me ask you, I know that you've talked to us about your partnership with Walgreens, one of the best retailers out there, great drugstore chain, Cleveland Clinic, one of obviously the most admired health care facilities. Did either call you today and say, you know what, we got to rethink our relationship?
Absolutely not. We're incredibly blessed to have partners who have worked with us, have actually seen our technology, and unfortunately in this case we offered to bring our technology to the Journal offices to show them the technology they were questioning running firsthand, and they denied that request to show it to them. But Cleveland Clinic, Walgreens, so many of the other partners that we have seen our technology, they've worked with us, they've used our systems, and they understand what we're doing, and they understand that when you try to change things, people react to it.
All right, so let me get this straight. You offered to bring the test to the Journal, so presumably you would have been comfortable with, say, 100 different people at the Journal taking your test, matching them against Quest or LabCorp, and you were perfectly willing to have that happen.
Absolutely. We offered to bring our devices to their offices.
And what did they say as a reason why they didn't want to do that?
Because the story needed to get out immediately.
Well, let's talk about that.
Even though they'd been reporting on it.
They said, again, because first of all, it's the Wall Street Journal. This is not the National Enquirer here. But they did say that they, after they pursued you for an interview for 5 months. You declined interview requests from the Journal for more than 5 months. Last week, the company said she would be available, but her schedule didn't allow it before the publication of this article. Why not just sit down with them? I mean, it's a reputable outfit. Why not just sit down with them months ago and explain your side of the story?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the Journal actually had a member of their editorial board write the very first piece on Theranos, and that person, Joe Rago, came out to our lab, saw our systems, and really got insight into our work. That was about a year ago. I published my op-ed in the Journal, and unfortunately, in this case, the reporter focused on sources who we knew in 2004 and 2005, who were the people who had said to me that there was no way I was going to succeed and be able to build this kind of company, and focused on questions like asking whether I could prove that I actually invented the patents that my name were on. And those are not very fruitful conversations in the context of engagement. But when we had the opportunity to engage with more people in the journal, we said we absolutely were ready to sit down and do that. And unfortunately, they offered a 3-day window in which we had told them I was not available before it was quote unquote necessary to get this published.
All right, well, let's talk about the substance of some of the charges that are raised. For instance, here's just an outright sentence, an assertion. Theranos also hasn't disclosed publicly that it does the vast majority of its tests with traditional machines bought from companies like Siemens AG. True or false?
So this is taken completely out of context. Starting when we launched our services in 2013, we put on our website that we do venous testing. So blood draws from the arm the traditional way. And starting in 2015, we announced, and it was published in San Francisco paper, in Fortune. I talked about it in an interview I did with Forbes, that we made a decision to expand our test menu to include all the specialty and esoteric tests that are traditionally run only very infrequently, but cost a huge amount of money. And we believe, as part of what we do, that one of our greatest innovations is making these tests available at extremely low cost. Okay. And so we expanded our test menu and made all these tests available through venous draws. We updated our website to reflect that. And so yes, now we have a huge number of tests that are available through our lab, but instead of charging $10,000 for them, we're charging $2.99.
Okay. And
this is listed on the Walgreens website. We've put it in our own press, and it's been out there.
Well, how many tests can your device, Edison, do? The Wall Street Journal says it can only do 15 out of 240.
Yeah, so we had communicated to the Wall Street Journal that we have submitted over 130 pre-submissions to FDA with tests running on our proprietary devices. And have been taking those through the FDA submission process. Every test that we offer in our laboratory can run on our proprietary devices. We bring tests up on our proprietary devices based on the frequency with which they're run. So at any given point in time, we're running the tests that are most commonly ordered. But we've also done a lot of work as part of this commitment that we've made, and it's been very controversial that we've actually become the first company advocating for FDA regulation of lab-developed tests. And as part of that, we have said that we think that every lab-developed test really should go through the FDA submission process. And so we've been consistent with it. And in fact, we even just recently took our nanotainers through the FDA clearance process and sent submissions in for those. And as part of that process, we're not even using our nanotainers except for FDA-cleared assays, so that every single thing that runs on our platform is getting to the point that it's going to be FDA-cleared.
One last question. Obviously, there's some dispute here. The journal doesn't make stuff up. Why not just have the study of hundreds of people, Theranos versus Quest LabCorp? Just say, listen, we're willing to do it. We're willing to do it now as LabCorp, is Quest Corp. It's Quest. Just say it right now on air. Quest LabCorp, we want to do a head-to-head. 200, 300, 400 patients. What do you say? Yes?
We've already done it. We've already done it, absolutely. And it's actually even published in our FDA decision summary from this summer, from a 900-patient study where we got FDA clearance of the exact system that the journal is questioning and demonstrated venous versus fingerstick across a huge number of patients. It was 889, I think, for that test. And we've done that over and over again for every single test.
Excellent. Elizabeth Holmes, founder, chair, and CEO of Theranos. Thank you for coming on Mad Money and from the Harvard Med School. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Read the journal. Listen to our interview. You make up your mind. Stick with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.